Hey everyone, welcome to episode 16 of the Mental Brew podcast. So we had Roddy Collins on, really enjoyable chat. We looked at Roddy's career, his goals and aspirations for the future, his thoughts on the current Irish vacancy, and what he believes is needed for the League of Ireland to really prosper, plus much more. So just with this episode, and like all our other episodes, if you like, share, and spread the word basically, so we can help grow our audience. And remember to give us a rating or a high rating as well on Spotify, just to help us reach greater numbers. Thanks for everyone's support. Again, feel free to send us messages like you've been doing already, and on commenting on the episodes themselves. Remember to follow us on social media for those who don't already do so. Thanks for listening, and I hope you enjoy today's episode. Hi everyone, my name is Dennis Lorden. Welcome to the latest episode of the Mental Brew podcast, and we have the man, the myth, the legend, Mr. Roddy Collins. Roddy, how are you, boy?
I'm grand. The man, the myth, the legend. Jesus, that's some pressure. Put on the back foot with that one.
Well, this might even put you on more of a back foot. So, Roddy, why do you do what you do?
Why do I do what I do? Well, do you know what? I don't know what I do, to be quite honest with you. Like, that's hard to define.
Yeah.
Why do I do what I do? What do I do? What do I do?
Interest in sport, managing.
Yeah. Come here, look. Well, that's just probably a progression of being born into a sports family, predominantly boxing family, you know?
Yeah.
So I followed the pathway of boxing as well as football. But the boxing wasn't for me. It was the football. And that was where my love was for. And the competitiveness of sport is what's ingrained in the family. So that was my choice. The rest of them all went into the ring. I went onto a football pitch.
Yeah. And was there any kind of pressure, even with that in mind? Was there any pressure for you to kind of to go to the boxing no matter what, or was you always kind of encouraged to forge your own way?
No, we were never put under pressure. And my father built a boxing gym out the back of the house. That wasn't pressure. Like, when you walk out the back of the house, you get a punch in the head. You walk out the front, have a game of football. I was out the front most of the time. But no, it was never pressure. It was just sort of, how can I say it? Every male member of the Collins family boxed, right away through my cousins and my uncles. Well, my uncle Terry was a middleweight champion, and my father was a middleweight champion. And then my mother's brother was a heavyweight champion of Ireland. So it wasn't a pressure, it was an obligation more than a pressure, to be quite honest with you.
Yeah.
You know, then I learned very young that getting punched in the head wasn't for me. You know what I mean? Punching fellas in the head was very enjoyable. I have to tell you that. But when they start getting a little bit full of themselves and hitting your back, I went, no, not for me. Like, when you're in a boxing ring, you can't hand it over to someone else. Yeah. On a football pitch, just go here, give him the ball, off you go. No, never pressure. Never pressure. Love for sport. We still have my own sons. One of them's just turned pro boxer. He's in London now the last weeks. His debut was coming up soon. The other son's semi-professional footballer, won the league. He won his 5th league title. And he's only 28. He won his 5th league title on Saturday. So, no. Question was, were we pressured? No. And I don't pressure my kids either. They go what way they want to go. But they probably feel obliged to be involved in sport because they know the benefits mentally and physically. And, you know, and also socially what the benefits are. So maybe that's, you know, what I learned from my father that just carried it on.
Yeah, that's amazing. And you mentioned the social benefits of sport. And you know, as we talked about on the phone today, I'm still in a classroom doing bits and pieces. Definitely today, you see kids struggle with the social aspect of how they mix or how they interact. We say when you're, you know, whether you're working with players or whether you're working with, even talking to your kids and how they deal with their challenges in their sport, how important is that social interaction and kind of building that as a skill?
It's huge. It's huge. Well, ours came from the upbringing we had. We kept a built-up council estate where the house was very small. There was 9 of us in a 2-bedroom house. So you got out as much as you could. So when you were out in the street, there was no social media or, you know, games they play on television, none of that. It was all sport, you know, outdoor action, Gaelic football, boxing, hurling, whatever it was. That's what we done and other stuff as well. And the interaction then educated you. It gave you how can I say, an alertness and awareness and a social skill, you know, to be always on your game.
Yeah.
It gave you a sharpness of thought and a quickness of thought as well in certain situations. And then the social end of it was you were in a big group of different people and they'd all different personalities and you have to navigate through that. You could be in a situation where there could be an aggressive fella who wants to have a go, or another fella who might be a little bit off the wall, want to go out and do something a bit mad. So you'd have to try and, you know, navigate through all that. And that builds up a personality in a human being, and especially from young kids growing up, and they just don't have it now. And I struggle a bit with my probably my grandchildren. Well, not me, one of my granddaughters. She's into the Gaelic, the soccer, and the running and the whole lot. But I've one grandson who he's brilliant. He's actually brilliant at playing those games, the football games now. But they see that as a talent.
Yeah.
And it is a talent of some description. Well, physically, it's not a talent as far as I'm concerned. So I would be worried for the kids in the future, to be quite honest.
Yeah, that's a really interesting fact. Like, because even we'll say to jump now just forward to your managerial career. Jumping forward to your managerial career, so just you're in a dressing room. There's 20 odd grown men sitting in front of you. They all want to play. They all want to be paid X, Y, and Z. You also have a backroom team to look after. How did you navigate that? And it was when I was talking, or when I knew when I'm talking to you, in one particular thing in my head was how do you deal with the aggressive player? So who comes in, knocks on the door, like, fuck's sake, Roddy, why aren't I starting today? This is bloody, bloody, blah.
Yeah, well, you don't meet that with aggression. That's for starters. You know, you calm that one down. You tell him everything that's good about him. Everything.
Yeah.
Everything. He's the best. He's the most talented. He's the quickest. He's the most educated. He's everything, but just not for this game. And I'm not dropping you. I'm starting you on the bench. That was a great one.
Okay.
I said to walk out the office, you know, and I said to get 3 or 4 paces from the door. It's too late to come back in. They go, starting on the bench. I'm still dropped. But look, it's a massive part of management, which I think has been taken out of the game. Like, it's all coaching now, and they're all numbers, number 6, number 9, number 8. You know, and I told a story today. There was a lad playing with me, and I dropped him, left him out of the team, and it was difficult. He was really, really, really angry. And so I warmed him up at half time. I said, you're going on the second half. And he gave a signal to a fella in the stand, like driving a car. I didn't know what was going on, so I put him on. He went straight on the pitch, never touched the ball, 2 foot of the fella, and got a straight red. Right?
Yeah.
And it was a win game to go into a playoff situation. So he was sent off, went down the tunnel, and one of my players on the bench ran after him to give him a few digs down the tunnel. And I stopped it, leave it. I come off the pitch after the game, and the chairman of that particular club said he's sacked. I said, he's not sacked. He said, we're sacking him. I said, we're not sacking him. So he rang me, that was on the Friday night. He rang me on the Sunday morning, and I knew the kid. He was a great lad. He just lost the plot. And he said, Rod, I'm sorry. I apologise. I heard I've been sacked. I said, no, you're not sacked. I said, and you ought to be sorry, and you will apologise to the whole squad, which he did. And I said, you're starting next week in the first leg of the playoffs. And he did. And he was our best player on the pitch. So that's like another player came to me. We played Oxford in a league game when I was manager at Carlow. We were playing in an LDV final in the Millennium Stadium in Cardiff on the Sunday. So I let the lads have a few beers on the Tuesday. We got a good result against Oxford. And 12 o'clock was the curfew. And one of the players called me it sounds like a banker, you know.
Yeah.
You know, in front of all the lads, and I was fuming, and I sent him to bed. So I went up anyway, got him up out of bed, and he stood and bum right on my chin. So I stripped off and had a good John Wayne with him in the room, and rolled around for a while, and he gave up anyway. Sorry, boss, blah, 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 blah. He came down the next morning for breakfast. Am I sacked? No, you're not sacked. Well, am I going to be punished? No, you won't be punished. I punished you enough last night, and you'll be playing in the final on Sunday. And he did. and he was our best player. So the
Yeah.
point I'm trying to get across is you can't personalise it.
Yeah.
You know, you can walk into a dressing room, look around and know, and I knew a certain player had been drinking the night before. I seen this in a dressing room one time, and the assistant manager comes and says, Rod, have a look at something, and I've copped that already. What do we do? Pretend you don't know. Just pretend you don't know.
Yeah.
Player went out, scored 2. We won 2-1. He was our man of the match. Right?
Yeah.
Brilliant, great. And I pulled him on Tuesday and fined him a week's
Yeah.
wages. But not before. It's management. And then you've got the joy lads. I remember there was one lad I had in Carlisle. He actually played for Cork on loan from Middlesbrough. A fella called Somerville, Mark Somerville. He was Brian Robson's son-in-law or future son-in-law, whatever. And he was brilliant. Very quiet lad. One day in training, not a word out, not one word. And I said to the lads, what's wrong with him? So one of them came, he says, his rabbit is after dying. We're in a relegation battle, you know. I'm going, his rabbit's after dying. So what? No, his mother left with another fella or blah, 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 or something happened.
Yeah.
And the rabbit was what was left behind. Whatever it was of massive sentimental value.
Okay.
So I straight off the training pitch, down to the pet shop, went in and said, give us a rabbit, will you? So they gave me this big black and white, you take like a little greyhound. It was huge. And I remember bringing it back in a cardboard box. And I remember going in the dressing room and I had the kit man outside. And I said, when I knocked back on the door, come in with the box. And I went and said, right, lads, we're a family. We got to look after each other. One of us needs a bit of support. We all support each other. Summers, I heard about what happened to your rabbit, and I went. So the kit man come in, bus head we used to call him. He come in with the cardboard box, put it in front of Summers, and the rabbit come up out of the box.
Oh, nice.
And all the lads started singing Bright Eyes, going up with a crack. And started crying. He started crying. And I said, what's wrong with you? He said, my rabbit was white. My rabbit was black one. But look, the point of the thing was, you have to understand they're all human beings.
Yeah.
They've all got their lives different out of football. You could walk in one day, what's wrong with him? His wife had a baby. What? That means he's been up a couple of nights feeding the baby. Go on home, bunch of flowers up the house, give that to your wife, get a good kip, try and get to bed Thursday, Friday, spare room on your own, send a bunch of flowers up to the wife, and everything's sorted out. You know, so that's how it works, really.
Is that a skill that's kind of been lost? You kind of mentioned it. Look, we were like, the coaches are very good. You know, they'll have their tactical stuff and everything else. But are we kind of losing the human touch where, you know, you see Roy Keane talking a lot about Brian Clough, and he had that personal side. He had that human touch to get the most out of the players. Are we seeing that kind of escape again?
Well, I think so. I mean, you've only to look at Man City in the Champions League there a couple of weeks ago, where 2 players opted out to leave the pitch. You know, I mean, if you have the regard and respect for your manager, you see, you must build a bond. I always believed, and I learned from Tulloch O'Connor when I played. Tulloch was very good to me outside football as a figure. My father died around the same time I started with Tulloch, and he became not a father figure of plenty of them in the Collins family, but he became somebody who I could look up to. And I learned so much from him. And I remember the last 10 minutes of a game, you'd be exhausted. Because I was a physical player. I wasn't a silky player. I was physical, battered a few people, scored a few goals. And I'd look over to him 10, 5 minutes ago, absolutely out of my feet. And he'd say, Rod, come on. And I'd suck it up and I'd die for him. I'd never go off like that. So I believe, and I won championships with both that loan and with Bohemians. And as a player with Dundalk, with that mentality, where there was a group of men as a team and teammates died for each other. And as a team and coach and staff and manager died for the staff and the manager. And that would be always my way of doing things. Yeah. And I believe that's done not on the training pitch, that's done after hours. When you can find a player might be financially strapped, you get him a few quid, he might have a problem. You look after that best you can. He might need somebody to speak to. You sit him down. Coaching is simple. Yeah. Tactics are simple. But getting people to implicate them with the desire and the energy that you require comes from management.
And how would you, I suppose, say now you get a call in the morning to go to Club X? What are your immediate kind of jobs you'd have in mind to kind of build that kind of culture, to build that bond?
Well, walk in, call a meeting, be absolutely straight and honest with everybody in the room, right? Obviously, you're getting called up the job that's struggling because you never get a job when they're winning. So you go in, you analyse why, right? Analyse the mentality of the players. Why are they down in the dumps? Why are they not winning? Are they not good enough? Maybe not. Are they not good enough as a team? Are they not good enough individually? Just these things you have to analyse. And when you do that, and you give everyone a fair crack, everyone gets a fair crack. And then you call them back. You know, I done our balls. I took over balls. And I went in and I was honest. I told them my first job. It's a huge challenge. I'll be straight and honest with everyone. If I make a decision, you'll know why. And then I gave it about 6 games. Then I let 6 or 7 players go one Sunday morning. And I done it in public in front of every player in the dressing room. And I told them why. You're staying because of the reason you're gone. You'll be paid every week. Don't come back to the club. And I went through it. And that was the turning point in my history with Bows. That day was the turning point. We went, I think, about 6 or 7 games unbeaten. Then we got respectability back. And then the lads knew there's no messing with this fella. So that's what you do. You see, people think you come in, bang tables and all that. No, you don't. You could win. And footballers are footballers. You can put them into 4 different categories. But you know them. It's different types. You get to know them as people first. Sit and have an individual with them, a chat with them, how they're feeling, why are they not the team in their opinion. And then you build a picture. And then obviously you build a team. And then you put your own tactics on it. And then you bring in a few players and out you go. That's how that one works.
And like, even though, say, when you made the move, you know, you played your trade abroad, right? How, even making that move, whether it be a player or a manager, or even now we'd say your son who's over, he's getting ready for his first professional fight, kind of leaving home, that must be a challenge. Like, how did you deal with that yourself, and kind of, so how are you helping your son along with that kind of challenge as well?
Well, lucky enough, he has his brother over there, so they're okay. But when I went to England as a kid, I think it was 16 when I went to Fulham first time, and I was there for maybe a month. And I wanted out of it. I absolutely hated it. I didn't hate the Fulham Football Club. I didn't hate the training. I didn't hate the people that was there. I just hated being lonely.
Yeah.
But I wanted to achieve for the family. I wanted to not fail for the family because they were so proud of me, my father in particular. I wanted him to be so proud. But I absolutely hated it. And I can understand young kids going away now. I would recommend, if they're going, try and link up with a family member over there, or don't go when you're 18 or 19 when you're a little bit more mature and well able for it. But it's nothing's easy. I had to live in Malta on my own without Karen and the kids. I had to live in Mansfield on my own. I had to live in Newport on my own, and Carlisle on my own. And it was horrendous. It was horrendous, the loneliness, the heartache, not working. All you think about was your kids and your wife, and I hope they're all right, stuff like that. And it takes its toll. So it's difficult, but look, nothing comes easy. But I would recommend, it's different now with like FaceTime and stuff like that. When I went to England, I used to write a letter every day to Caroline, and I'd ring her once a week on a public phone on the North Spectre, or I'd go to a phone box. That was how we communicated. I'd write a letter to my mum, my dad, probably maybe once a month or once every 2 weeks. And that's just the way it was. It's different now. It's easier now, I'd imagine.
Yeah. That's gas, because I know this was, I'm kind of, as mentioned, we're mid-city ladies, and there's a possibility of girls going abroad there. So I know homesickness might be a thing in their mind, because you know it isn't easy kind of leaving your kind of comfort zone and whatnot. Going back to your time as a player, Roddy, I suppose what was your best experience in terms of whether it be a club or a season? And I suppose what kind of was the thinking behind it? Why was it so successful? You know, we might have won something, but was there something else? Was it the bond with the players? Was it the manager, or what?
Yeah, as a player, I was doing really well at 18. Played in Europe for Bows, and I was after coming back from trials with Arsenal, Fulham, and Wolves, and I was really out there settling into myself. Full-time trainer with Bows, well, I mean, man's training,
Yeah.
and I was really looking forward to what was coming. And then Spurs United and Celtic were all interested. Then scouts were coming to watch me, and I got a horrendous broken leg up in UCD. It was a horrendous tackle. It was a mistake. It wasn't a malicious tackle, and that I didn't play for nearly 2 years after that.
Wow.
And I came back, played the tournament up in Dublin, and Thurlock O'Connor signed me for Athlone. They just won the league, 93, I think, or sorry, 1983 season I signed. They just won the league in 1982, and it was a second chance for me. And I went in there, and I think I was top scorer that season. Played most games unless I was injured, and that for me was the best. That was the start of my career before I went back to England to the lower divisions. And then at the end of my career, I signed with Crusaders up in Belfast, and I think I scored 44 goals in something like 48 games. So I don't know. I don't do stats, but someone told me that recently. That was brilliant. I loved her up there. So the very beginning of my career at loan, second chance, and then the end of my career up in Crusaders was absolutely brilliant because I was with brilliant people, brilliant managers, and supporters were brilliant, and we were winning, which is the most important thing. So they were the most memorable times as a player.
You must have met some characters along the way in your journey, whether it be as a player or manager, yeah? I'd say you've some stories.
Well, you know what? The game was full of characters back then. It was brilliant. You know, you had to be sort of accepted into a dressing room, whether it was a comedian or sometimes there were drinkers or tough, or just, you know, you had to have something. If you're a quiet man in the corner, you had to be a very good footballer. So, yeah, a lot of characters. It was a different era. The game was different.
Yeah.
The game, the attitude was different, you know, and I would say it was more enjoyable socially. And when I say social, I don't mean out drinking and having the crack like that. I mean, we could have the crack during the game.
Yeah.
I remember a player having a stinker, absolute stinker, and the manager shouted at me, "See what's wrong with him." I went back for a corner kick. It was a centre half. So what's wrong with you? He said, "I'm after leaving the chicken in the oven back in Dublin." We were playing in Roddy. And he sent me wife's back from Cork at 7 o'clock tonight. The house will be burned to the ground. And I look around and things, he winding me up, you know. So the assistant manager, Paddy Corby, jumped in the car in the old days, no motorway, back down to Dublin, come back, game over, walks in, hits him with a raw chicken. He says, "You don't." And that's the truth. So they were characters like that, you know what I mean? But I met some great characters. Kirk Hunter up in Crusaders, a loyalist from the Shankill Road, 6'4", built like I won't name the word, built like a brick house.
Yeah.
Her heart of gold. Her heart of gold. Total opposite to me. I'd be more a Republican from Cabra. He was a loyal. His family were, I think they could have been involved in paramilitary in him, but we were still best mates. We still speak maybe twice a year, and I will see him probably once a year. And he was an out-and-out character, proper fella. You know, so there was never like any, how can I say, stereotype that you'd meet, all different.
Yeah, very good. And have you, I suppose, ambitions to get back into the game?
Oh, yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. I mean, I've a pain in my face applying for jobs, you know.
Yeah.
So just, I don't know what the crack is. And Noel King's been a great inspiration to me, him getting back into Dundalk this week. So
yeah,
sometimes you think, God, you think you're past it, but you never passed it as a manager. It's a mental thing, you know, not a physical thing. But yeah, so I don't know, absolutely, I'd love it, yeah.
And like, would you even think about getting into the women's game, or do you want to stick primarily with men?
No. I got a job. I knew this one, right? A relation of mine, he's a top fella out in America, John O'Rourke. He has a big company out there that supplies all the clubs in the US with all the coaching equipment, big company, you know. And he said to me, "Rod, I have a job for you in Florida." About 10 years ago. I said, "Love it, brilliant, I'll have it." went through the whole rigmarole with him on the phone. And then I spoke to the president of the club out in Florida, and then realised about 5 minutes into the conversation, it was a ladies' team. And I thought, no, please. I don't think I'll be cut out for it, to be quite honest with you.
Yeah.
I don't. I think my style of management might be a little bit like don't get me wrong, I've 3 daughters and a wife, so I'm dominated by women. But I just think I would be probably too demanding.
Yeah.
Possibly too demanding. Yeah. No, I don't think so.
And obviously, you know, we're kind of seeing in the news, new Ireland manager is going to be named, and it's been put back and put back and put back. That's kind of turned into a bit of a shit show, isn't it?
It's an absolute laughing stock. We're a laughing stock. It's a joke. I mean, we had a disaster under the John Delaney era, and then obviously they got rid of him. And then they threw a few shapes, and everything was going to be great. I think we're actually worse off. Administration-wise, we're worse off forever about Delaney and the financial end of it, which was all exposed in the end. I think it was a little bit better on the administration end. I think at this moment in time, it's an absolute embarrassment. I'm embarrassed. I'm out here in Spain and people ask me, I meet people from Wales and Scotland and England, and they ask me, it's embarrassing. It's a joke. I mean, look, if Cork put their manager's position up for grabs tomorrow, Cork City, you'd have 50 applicants within a day. I know that. 50 CVs in a day. So you're telling me the CVs aren't flying into that Ireland job, and they can't pick somebody.
Yeah, true. Fair point.
Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, fair point.
I mean, I'd give it to John O'Shea.
Yeah, absolutely. I think that'd be a great call, wouldn't it? He knows the young players as well.
Look, let's be honest. Who are we talking about? We're talking about the chap in Georgia. You know, that's the latest one. Well, we were waiting on that result between Greece and Georgia, and the quote was, "The winner goes to the Euros, the loser goes to the Republic of Ireland job." We'll be praised. That was the joke. But look, we need to settle it down. We need the players to be settled down. John O'Shea is worth a fair cracker.
Yeah, I would kind of agree with that one. And from your time in the league, right? What more can be done in terms of, we'll say, supporting clubs perform? Because obviously, this is a performance podcast. We're kind of getting to it now eventually. But what can the FA or what the FA should they do more to kind of help clubs kind of get to levels, getting the right people in, etc.? Facilities.
Yeah. What I've been for 40 years. I'm in this game 45, 47 years, and the facilities haven't improved. Cork is a good stadium, and we've Shamrock Rovers. There you don't like the pitch, but facilities are everything. Yeah. If you want to attract, players, keep players from going across the border, we're getting supporters in. You can see that in the turnstiles are clicking, but you won't keep them if you don't improve them. I mean, Stephen Bradley was complaining about the pitch last night in Tolka Park. That shouldn't happen. Yeah. Tolka Park's pitch. It's just the facilities. Bring people in, have good stadiums, have good pitches, and entertain people as well. Like, you go to a game of football, unless you're a football person, there's nothing else there to enjoy. You go to a greyhound track, especially in Shelbourne Park, you'll have a great night, you'll have a nice meal, a bit of hospitality. Or you can go to a 7-tier game in England, right? Yeah. And I can have a meal before the game in a nice area. Go out to the game, back at half time, have a beer on the table or a coffee or whatever, waiting for you, and go in after the game and watch the results come up on the big screen. Yeah. You're not going to get Irish football. So for me, facilities, the coaching is good, the players are better, it's way more professional, the supporters turn out in the numbers. The facilities is what we need. We need to create an industry of a full-time league. That's what we need to create. A full-time league that's supported by the government, the way they support the rugby and the way they support the GAA. We need that. But there's no incentive for any government to support League of Ireland football because it's not an industry. If they were getting returns on PRSI, employees, VAT on ticket sales and stuff like that, Well, there'd be an incentive there for the government to be involved. But there's none of that. And also, if you look at the History League of Ireland football, it's a boom and bust situation with clubs.
Yeah.
When we look at Dundalk, rock bottom of the Premier League, Cork relegated.
Yeah.
Teams that won, Cork won the double, 6 years ago, was it?
Yeah, it was something to know, to be honest. I got involved
winning titles every year.
Yeah.
How can I say, and I keep saying, and I get slaughtered by the balls supporters, but I'm only speaking the truth. Shamrock Rovers are how can I say, the club that's leading the way on and off the pitch. And we need 6 or 7 clubs like that.
Yeah. Because it is, I suppose, from being in it myself, it is a product that my eyes weren't on. But now, I obviously followed the women's game now, and I'm obviously kind of more conscious of the Cork City results. If it's on LOI TV, I'd watch it, which kind of didn't happen before. How?
But there's sorry for interrupting you. There's Cork, for an example, right?
Yeah.
One of the biggest clubs in the country. Some would say the biggest club in the country. Pat Dolan says it every day, right? The pitch is unplayable.
Yeah, Turner's Cross closed at the moment, yeah.
You know what I mean? The pitch is unplayable. So, like, that can't be allowed to happen.
Yeah, fair point. Yeah.
I don't know, but just anyway, facilities is my thing.
And I suppose, say now the infrastructure does go in, how big could the league go? Like, I'm getting like, it won't be a Premier League in terms of England, but like, what kind of level could it get to, even from the leagues you would have seen in terms of managing or even going out scouting and whatnot? Like, what level do you think it could have the potential to get to?
Well, I believe if we've 6 or 7 clubs run like Shamrock Rovers, we could have a very strong Indigenous league that would maybe promote 1 or 2 players into the international squad. That would be progress. Like, we've had players picked for the international squad. They were tokens.
Yeah.
That was just to please the League of Ireland support. And, for to see an Indigenous player selected on merit, we need a stronger league. And that's how you would gauge it. We will never compete with the GAA. Never. It's never going to happen. Never. And we have to accept that. So I think if we can have 10 teams, 8 teams even, competing like Shamrock Rovers, then that progresses every year, gets stronger. If you could have sellout grounds of 10,000 for every team playing, I think you'd be on the right road to having a league that would be producing teams that would qualify for maybe a not Champions League knockout stage, or definitely the Europa League knockout stages like Rovers and Dundalk did. I think we need to be doing that on a regular basis. I think that will be the ceiling of what we could have hoped to achieve.
And just was it with that, right? Say now you get a call in the morning, you're taking over Team X, wherever it may be, whether it be in Ireland or abroad. In terms of performance, what would your key pillars of performance be kind of going in, or even part of your interview where you sit down and you're talking to the owner, you say, look, pillar 1, pillar 2, pillar 3 or 4, these are key for me, for my team to perform well?
Well, obviously, effort. Mentality in, how can I say, in being professional, representing the club and attacking football, the most important thing. And when you're asked in an interview, what kind of football do you like? I always say winning football.
Yeah.
It's all about winning, let's be honest about that. But if you can win with style, attacking football with a free-flowing, mentality of not careless and carefree, but expression.
Yeah.
Express yourself. You get more out of your players 100%, but also for people to be very professional in the way they conduct themselves representing the club.
Yeah. And it would, I suppose, obviously, if you were manager now and you heard, I'm your player and I'm out on the piss causing trouble in the weekend, would that be an issue for you?
No, he'd be gone.
Yeah.
He'd be gone. He'd be gone. Of course he'd be gone. When I say he'd be gone, I would use, if I had to, this player till it's time to get him out, but he'd be gone. You can't allow that. I had that. Well, I had a few, not bad eggs, a few bored junkies, I could say. Probably had too many of the Irish lads over at the one time. And there was a little bit of a drink culture developed. And the chairman was probably the cheerleader of the whole lot. And
Yeah.
that created, So no, I was never a drinker when I played football myself, never. And I don't tolerate that. But I do believe it's not a boarding school either. They have to enjoy their sport.
Yeah. And for yourself now, you mentioned you're in Spain. We would have talked on the phone briefly about it today. But I suppose in terms of lifestyle and kind of want to get to kind of that kind of sense of freedom compared to what maybe we experience back at home. I suppose, what's it like to have that sense of freedom? I rang you today and I think you were walking on the beach, at 1 o'clock, enjoying the savage weather. What's it like to have that kind of freedom?
Brilliant. It's brilliant. And we've earned it, by the way.
Absolutely.
If you really had a rough time for over the years, but that's life. We're okay now. It's brilliant. To wake up in the morning and have a choice, do I turn left or turn right? And I send back me stats every night to my sons and my daughters. And we walked 25.3 kilometers today. 37,000 steps, I think they call it. Now, I didn't put it on the kids. Said, in for a good swim, in for about a half an hour. I love swimming. Come back, have a nice, healthy Mediterranean dinner. Be in bed at 10 o'clock tonight. And I'll go up to Rails and watch the football training tomorrow night. Watch the kids training. And it's just brilliant. And you're waiting on a call. Because I always say, if that call comes, I want to be physically and mentally ready to go. And I am.
Yeah.
I watched the football last night. I have all the stations. I watch the Spanish football. I watch everything. And yeah, it's just brilliant. But I could jump on a flight and be home in no time. There's 24 flights to Barcelona. So I could be home in no time. But it is a great, it's just a great feeling of health and freedom mentally and physically.
Yeah, I would have, again, people who've listened to a few podcasts and know I'm changing career, moving away from the teaching. I would have felt very boxed in that. Would have felt very unhappy in it. But I remember there was 2 years ago, where I kind of went subbing on my terms. I said, these are the days I can do. I think I was doing 3 days, and the way the hours worked out, I was getting really good pay, but I was able to then do my business the other 4 days of the week. And I've never, ever felt such freedom from it. It was just brilliant.
Well, look, have your own choice. Well, I've never been someone that was hemmed in. You know what I mean? Never been that. Even in school, I walked out of school and I got thrown out of school and all sorts. And I worked on building sites. I was self-employed from 27 when I got back in England. So I've always had the freedom of choice. I couldn't be hemmed in. It would crack me up completely. Now, family hems you in, but they're all rare now, thank God. And Caroline's flying it out here as well. So for you, it's the best move you've ever made. And I remember I wanted Terry Evson, who's the school teacher, to come full time with me as an assistant manager. And he couldn't. And I think till this day, it's not a regret, but it's something that I'm sure he wished he could have been able to take it. To be able to grow up every morning and do what you want to do is unbelievable. And I understand, like my son is self-employed in England. The two of them are, well, one was going pro boxer, but he served his time as an electrician. My daughter's a secondary school teacher while she moved jobs. My other daughter, but that's what the freedom. Don't be hemmed in. That's what I say. If you can manipulate a situation in your life or create it through education or sport or whatever, where you're your own boss, it's the best feeling on the planet.
Yeah, and it's something that isn't necessarily was taught in schools. In terms of we're very much taught. You go to college, you go to work, you do your 9 to 5, and obviously a lot of people differ out and they do their businesses and stuff. But I remember talking to my wife about this, and to be fair, she backed me 100%, which was brilliant. And then we had our kids then only a few months ago. Still got massive backing to do what I'm doing, and I must say now
that's the most important thing. My number Karen that was 16, well 15. I remember I started going out when I was 16, and Karen had big jobs in Guinness's, the gas company, Sterling Winthrop. She fantastic job. She was well educated, but never once ever said no. Don't try it. Packed up jobs, packed up houses, sold houses. So if you have that back in your home and dry, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And like you, fair play. It's brilliant to have that. That's half the battle,
I know. Can you think of any just for yourself where kind of maybe light bulb moments in terms of maybe life changing moments, like where something happens and the light switch goes on, going, oh fucking hell, this now has put me in a bad area.
I do. I've one where 14 years ago I went for tests and they decided I needed emergency 5 stents into my main artery.
Wow.
Right? And I remember lying back and thinking, Jesus, I hope I don't die here on this table, And I got through it. And I changed my lifestyle. I was 17 stone at the time. I got down to 15. I've never went back up. And then 2 years ago, November 2 years ago, myself and Caroline went on a walk and break down to Kilmark Thomas. And on the first night, Caroline fell down the stairs and broke her neck or C2 bone, which normally is fatal or paralysis. But thankfully, got through both, struggling a little bit at the moment with it. That's what we spend so much time out here. But they were moments when I said, do you know what? Life's too short now. Let's do what we love. We love walking. We love swimming. We love going out for meals. We love going to bed early. Carol reading our books. I love looking at the football on the telly. So everything that we like doing, we do.
Yeah.
And that was a full moment. And I went, you know what? And after that's a bonus. And if I get a job, I get a job. If I don't, I don't. It's not going to alter the remainder of how I live my life,
And would say with the job in mind, right? You've really shared a lot in your book. I actually have the book, really, really good, right? Get a great sense of yourself, as you said, and even going back to Johnny's podcast, interviews where people get your personality across, putting their stuff into that book. Does that, I suppose, put yourself out there to get the job that bit more? But is there a kind of an element with that of being a kind of vulnerable as well, kind of putting that book together?
Oh, look, anybody that puts their life on the table and it's in print, people will make judgment. They'll pick segments out of it, make judgment as you on that segment. But you know what? Honestly, I don't care. If it gets me a job, it goes. If it gets me a job in football, it's because if you look at my record, and I don't think anyone's done it unless Damien Duff does it this season, walked into Bows and they were rock bottom after 10 games, rock bottom. And after 33 months, they were double winners.
Wow.
And the previous season, we were in the cup final and we were pipped for the league. Right? So that's what gets me a job. Any other part of it, that's life.
Yeah.
It is what it is. I apologise to McGregor would say, I apologise to absolutely nobody. I'm happy I done it because I don't socialise in big circles. So people have their own opinion, or who Roddy Collins was, or the Chinese whispers. A lot of it was put out by a few vindictive people about me within the game to keep me out of work. So I've put my story down for everyone to look at. And if anyone's a problem with it, there's plenty of solicitors out there love to take it on. Have a go. Or I can back up everything that's in it. So no, I'm happy with it, really happy with it. And I have to thank Paul Howard for that, because I spilt my guts out with him every Friday for 10 months.
Wow.
For a full day every Friday for 10 months. And he polished it up into something presentable, as you would call a life. And no problems with it at all.
And was there, in terms of the structure of it, like, did you put much work into it? So you met him on the Friday. Was there a lot of work for yourself Monday to Thursday again?
No.
Or was it Friday?
What we're doing now is what we've done every Friday for 10 months. That's all. We sat at a table. He put a phone on the table, or microphone, or whatever it was, and we talked the way we were talking. And I have a good recall I have a brilliant memory, I have a great recall. And we went right back to my youngest memory when I was about 4 years of age. And we went through everything, went back to where we lived, sat in the garden wall, went up to where Caroline lived, where we met, done everything.
Man.
And fair play to Paul, he put it in an unbelievable, I don't think it is, but it's sold out. It was a bestseller 2 times round. So, you know what I mean? Obviously, people.
It was brilliant. I actually couldn't get it. I had to get it online eventually. Even then, it was hard to get it. Couldn't get it in any bookshop when it came out. One of the lads in Cork City, I told him I was going to be chatting to you, and he said, the book is just fantastic. He really, really enjoyed it.
Very much for that. Now, I have to say, I was concerned. There's a lot of stuff in it, but as Paul said, I took nothing out of it.
Yeah.
I gave him. He took a few bits out and looked after me, but I took nothing out of it. But I was concerned when it was coming. I was very, very nervous. I'll be honest with you. Very nervous for the wife, for Caroline, the kids, the extended family, everyone, hoping that no one was offended.
Yeah.
And it worked out brilliant in the end. So no, it's been life changing, you know what I mean? To be quite honest with you. Because I can face people now that, like, there was one fella, I won't name him on a podcast, but he was ridiculing me in public, and I seen him, I caught him, you know, and I just hope he reads the book, or someone explains to my life and how it was and how hard we tried, that he might feel a little bit guilty in putting me down. I caught him doing it, but I've never confronted him yet. I will do it 100% in the right time, the right moment. But yeah, people like that have put me out of work. People have put me out of work. People have spread stories about me in football. I went to take over a club in Malta, and the president called me in and said, "We got very, very disturbing news about you." And I said, "And what's that?" "You stole money from 2 football clubs." "No, sorry, you trousered money from 2 football clubs in Ireland." Wow. Jesus Christ, what do I do to counteract that? And only the man known me a month and taken to me and looked at me, and I promised him I'd never been involved. I actually paid people to play for me on my own company, you know. So stuff like that is out there for people to go, "Oh, well, you know what?" And I have to say, 1 or 2 people have come to me, and a fella in particular told me, and he said to me, "I need to apologise to you." And I said, "Why? What did you do on me?" He says, "I never met you, but I thought you were an absolute bollocks," he said, "till I read the book."
Yeah.
And I feel crap for actually thinking that of you and discussing it with other people. I said, well, if that's one thing that comes out of it, you know.
And we're nearly done now, but is that hard to deal with? Have these people talk about you, you know, whether you're like, if it's a player now, it's in social media, but is it hard to deal with that? Me talking about Roddy Collins when I've never met the man, or I've,
you know what? Do you know, it was heartbreaking. It was depressing. It was horrendous. It was like being in prison. It was horrible. And you went out and you go to a League of Ireland game and you'd see them nudging and, you know, and I look at him, he's going to be the manager of Ireland. I can't even get it. Oh, it was brutal. It was horrible. And then you go to apply for jobs and you wouldn't even get a reply, not even a no, thank you. So it was depressing, and it was very hard on the confidence. You know, the confidence gets knocked when you have so much coming at you. Your confidence gets knocked. And only for Caroline, to be quite honest with you, saying, "Don't mind them, keep at it, keep at it, keep at it." Somebody out there is going to give you a job, right? And that kept me going. And then when the boot came out, I just boom, I just feel great. And when I walk down the seafront here, I meet a lot of people from the, you know, Kilkenny, Cork, wherever, in the season when they're over. They want to have a picture with you, and they want to talk. It's brilliant. Where people are ducking away from me, you know.
I wouldn't be a big drinker now or anything, but I remember after listening to the two Johnny's podcast, I remember saying it to Ashley, my wife, I goes, "Fucking, I'd love to sit down and have a pint of Roddy Collins." It was
you know what? They're two brilliant fellas. And I wasn't going down to them. I didn't even know where a car, whatever it's called. I didn't know where he was. I wasn't going, and I went down. And we now having points with them as well. But I don't go on points. This is the thing.
Okay.
You know what I mean? Like, a fella contacted me and said, "I'll pay for a full day, chauffeur you around if you come and have a few points with me and me dad." I don't go for points. I go to restaurants with Caroline, have a couple of bottles or a couple of glasses of wine or whatever. I don't go. You know, so yeah. But look, I've been having to crack my building sites on football pitches in dugouts, winding up referees, everything. So yeah. Sure, look, life is good. It's a big theatre of entertainment. Stay the best you can. That's what I say.
Absolutely fair. I've got 5 really quick questions for you, and then we're done. So, what's the best advice you've ever been given?
The best advice: familiarity breeds contempt.
Brilliant.
Familiarity breeds contempt. My father told me that one, and he's right.
What are you most proud of?
Most proud of me or of other people?
Of you, yourself. What are you most proud of?
My family.
Brilliant.
My wife and my kids, and how they've all turned out. Really enjoyed it.
Do you believe in regret? Is that something you have in your head, or is it in all?
No,
Brilliant.
no. This is another piece of advice I got, and I got it from a very wise man called Tony O'Connell. He said, if you had your life to live over again, you wouldn't make the same mistakes. You make different ones. Learn to own ones and live with the ones you made and march on. And that's that. I've no regrets. None.
What's your best sporting memory?
Best, my brother winning the world title in Mill Street.
I can remember watching that. Was that on RT? I think it was. I was only small, but I can remember watching that at home.
I was ringside.
And
Yeah.
it's actually gas. It was the night after the fight against Eubank. I think you were in juries in Cork, because I remember swimming there, and Steve came through with the belt and all the press, and myself and my buddy were there looking at him, eyes wide open, with 2 towels wrapped around us, and he was lifting up the belt. I'll never forget it. Actually, that was a great moment.
Unbelievable. Great memory of Cork.
What is what's the thing you want most now over the next short to medium to long term? Is it,
health.
personal health? Is it?
Well, you know what? I'm in the last quarter of the game. As I always said to the lads when I was a manager, we're in the last quarter of the game. Throw caution to the wind. Go for it. Don't have any regrets when the final whistle goes. I'm in the last quarter of the game. I want to be as healthy and as fit as I can for my age. I don't want to be young. I'm happy with the age I am. I'm happy with the life I've had. I want to, I'd love another crack at management. I'd love another crack at that. I think I could be very successful at that, But other than that, just to be happy with my wife, for my kids to progress and be happy in whatever they want to do. And just look, be happy. That's it.
That's brilliant. What a way to finish. Roddy, thanks so much for giving me your time, man. This has been absolutely brilliant, and I really, really appreciate it.
Thank you very much. Thanks for asking. As I said a few years ago, they're looking away from me. So it's a privilege to be asked now,
No, thanks a million, Roddy. Really, really appreciate it, bye.
Good man. Thank you. Bye-bye.